Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company. I'm your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Smitty Source on both of those. Subscribe to the Source and Company YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And follow the Source NCO podcast _RVA Instagram as well for show updates. All right. Okay. So today's company. I had this intro all set up because I was gonna make myself laugh. I'm doing it anyway. I know you heard her on the radio.
True.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were gonna jump in or not. Whether on Kiss FM or on Power 92, you've heard her on weekends, and of course with her homie Lottie B as well. And you might have seen her on the video as well, because she's had her show, which is Coffee with Strangers, weekend host of Virginia Lottery, former VCU sideline reporter. Like the list goes on and on. She does a million things. You see her, you know who it is. They don't need for me to keep going on. The social queen of the 804 scene, Kelli Lemon.
Thanks, Source. I appreciate it. And you know, I love that shirt, like.
Yeah, let me, hold on one second. Let me get the whole,
I appreciate it. Yes, yes. With the whole branding on it, it has it all. I love it. I appreciate you wearing that.
And how did I forget to say the the owner of Urban Hang Suite?
You said it with your chest. I got it. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm well. That's kind of the way that I'm answering that question right now. It's just, we got through, and I'm gonna say that again. We got through a crazy, 18 months. And I mean, we're still going through it, but again, if you can really, see how, you can move forward and, things will be all right. And, if you got just a little bit of a positive, I guess, bone in your body, that, that it, we got through, and people are tired, people are exhausted, but, there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And so I'm excited to see what happens when, the smoke clears. So I'm well.
Excellent. Are you generally, I wasn't going to ask this, but are you generally a positive person? Do you have positive energy? Are you a positive person?
I've probably made it a part of my lifestyle. I will find the joy in every situation. I have to find the positive in it. I don't know where it came from, but I just think that I kind of started on this. It could be so much worse. I think about what other people do not have, and I'm like, okay, it could be so much worse. I think about the lesson that may be in, whatever happened. And I think, just say it could just be so much worse. So I try to find the positive in all things, and then try to figure out how to bring joy to the situation.
Well, I gotta say, you have brought joy to the 804. I gotta say, a lot of times, you see events that have gone on over the last, I don't know how many years, and one way or another, you are connected to a lot of them. We're gonna get to that in a minute. We'll get to that, okay. how we got here in a minute. Let's just go ahead and take it back. We're gonna take it all the way back to, if I remember correctly, we're taking it back to the 7-5.
We are. I'm a Virginia girl all day. Like, I love this state, man. You cannot talk bad about Virginia around me, because I got something to come back with every time someone does. But I was born in Hampton, Virginia, basically raised on Hampton Institute back then, campus, but it's HU to everybody, Hampton University. And so I was born there, and believe it or not, I played under the Emancipation Proclamation tree, so I was getting a lot of history, and I didn't really know it. I knew where Fort Eustis was, but until now did I know that that's where Black culture, Black Americans started. 22 and odd Africans, landed right there. again, that was just home. That was Hampton. Then my parents moved us to Yorktown, right? And so not only was, I was still close to Hampton, Newport News, so I still got my Blackness and that sense of things, but I am very much in an all-white neighborhood. And, went to Tab High School for, a couple years, but it was still military. And so I got all this melting pot of mixing of different, races and cultures and ethnicities because they were military. So they were shipped in and out all the time. So, my parents decided, they worked in Richmond and decided that, it was time to move. And they asked me my junior year, would I move to Richmond? And, back in the 90s, Richmond was the place to be. I was like, oh yes, I'm coming to Richmond. I knew that was the city, I knew that was popping, and I was ready to come to Richmond. And my parents were like, okay, sorry, we're moving to Hanover. Oh, oh,
game changer.
okay. So, that's cool. Again, everything happens for a reason. I'm cool with that because again, I came to an unknown city, and at the time, Atlee High School, that's where I graduated from, was one of the best high schools in the state of Virginia, and I was like the third class to come out of there. But Atlee was playing Kennedy, was playing Armstrong, was playing Highland Springs, Verona, Henrico, again. I was in Hanover, but you couldn't tell me nothing because I was a cheerleader and I was the only Black cheerleader going to these schools. Right. So I got to meet people because I came from an area where you talk to people, I didn't make sense to the people at Atlee because I was this Black girl that came in like, hey, and I didn't make sense to, Richmonders and Henrico people because they were like, who is this Black chick that, is at Atlee? And then add on that I worked at Foot Locker at Virginia Center Commons when they first opened. So again, I gave you a roundabout of how I got to Richmond, but that's how I can say I'm a Virginia girl through and through. I love Tidewater. I love where I'm from, but Richmond's home.
Richmond's home, indeed. Actually, and you have one sibling, right?
I do. Yeah, Lance. See, we're 13 years apart. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So were you like a second mom? Is that how that works?
Mm-hmm. I literally am. I'm his sister mom. At 13, and my parents working in Richmond, what I'm saying? So I was instant babysitter. Lance was with me all the time. And, I got looked at, unfortunately, I got judged. And so I made it so I didn't like him, and, time just made that different. That's one of my best friends, so.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would have never thought about it, but yeah, because they're like, oh, single mom, she's a teenage mom. Uh-huh.
Look at her, another one. Look, even down to, and no judgment, we were written up in a publication recently, and a major publication, and we were at the big new the Black memorial at UVA, and Lance went to UVA too, and it said that he was my son in the caption. They got it wrong, but it quoted both of our years that we graduated from UVA, and I was like, Dad, that would have been a story too, to say 13-year-old has baby and then they both go to UVA. If we had to stop and do the math a little bit, they would have noticed that was wrong. But that's the running joke with us, is that he's just been around for so long that he is my brother though.
Wow. Okay. All right. And you just mentioned UVA. I definitely wanted to at least glance over. You know what the weird thing is? I have no affiliation with UVA specifically, but I think you are the fourth. This is like episode 63. I think you're the fourth UVA grad I've had. That's a lot. I don't think there's any college that I've talked to more people from than UVA. My daughter probably wouldn't appreciate that, as she just graduated from Tech, but that's another story.
It is.
How did we stumble across UVA?
My guidance counselor said I wouldn't get in.
Word.
It was really
at Atlee.
It was that simple. It was that simple. And you know, again, I'm at this school where like everybody was fighting to get in tech and UVA, and I was like, why? What you know, what's so great about these places? And then, you know, for somebody to tell me because I wasn't going to get in because I didn't have a certain course load. And I was like, but my extracurricular, when I started to do more research about the university, you know, my extracurricular and my grades, you know, were enough. Now, the problem was in the 90s, once again, affirmative action. So like, then once I got there, I had to like almost prove to those that didn't get in why I should be there. And so, you know, I think that's, UVA chose me in a weird way. I think I said I was never going. I went up there for something. I was like, I'm never going to come into this school. And then, you know, to have a guidance counselor tell me I wasn't even going to get in. And then to get in and, you know that it was a place where there was a large Black population back in the 90s, and they all kind of looked out for each other. We ate together. We had a bus stop together. You know, I got a Black Panther tattooed on me freshman year because, again, we went in with our fist blazed, but it taught me how to really, really deal with this world, you know, like really, really be able to handle life. And I owe UVA and, you know, my whole experience to why I am, you know, who I am right
now. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, that's great, actually. But has the more recent outlook or recent things that have happened in Charlottesville gave you any type of pause?
It was there then. You know, I'm sorry the world had to see it. No, I'm glad the world had to see it.
Exactly.
That's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like the N word being written on your door, you know, to see the Confederate flags up in people's rooms because they were from Georgia and that's all they knew, you know. But again, I'm sorry that some of you all can't admit that you're racist, can't admit that you're friends with these people and don't like these images. However, these were things that we were already know. I mean, it was Thomas Jefferson's university.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like I get questioned to this day why I didn't go to a HBCU or how could I go to that, you know, that PWI. And, you know, for me, it was because it made me who I was because I went into it already knowing my Blackness. Mm-hmm. So I was able to then just have conversations, talk to other people. You know, UVA had a large percentage of, you know, just diversity in a weird way. It might not have been just by race, but diversity, thought, you know, mindset is also a part of that. Right. And, you know, I learned life, man. Like, you know, like being in Charlottesville was tough, like, you know, working at the mall and, you know, being around some people that didn't want me at UVA, like, but I was there and I was going to succeed while I was there. And, you know, the best advice I ever got was network while you are here. Because I promise you, when you have this degree and you leave here, you will get what you want. And again, it changed my life. That's how I got to VCU.
Mm. So what was the dream? Because I know the dream at the time was definitely not social entrepreneur.
The dream was to be a huge sports marketing. When I graduated, I mean, that's what I graduated with. My internship and my whole focus was in sports marketing and promotions. And that's what I actually came into VCU as the very first director of women's basketball operations. It wasn't, it was marketing, but not really, because the women's program just needed a operations manager for all things. Mm-hmm. However, because I had such a strong background for promotions and marketing, I was like, you're not gonna forget about these women. You know, like we're gonna get these women's basketball games popping. And so I took another route with it and made it more family style, like bring the kids. This is where the kids can get involved. But I also got to work with big all the sports. And, we created an environment that brought kids to the game. Like we brought the student engagement back. And then also we had at the time, Jeff Capel was what, 30? Well, I forgot how old he was.
Yeah.
He was young, like when he was younger than 30, I think. I'm getting old now, so I can't remember our ages back then. And then to be kind of thrown alongside of him at this new energy of this new basketball era energy. And, I could talk the talk. I knew the game. My dad is another one of my best friends, and I'm a daddy's girl, so I learned a lot about sports, and so it was very natural for me to have conversations with coaches and players about why they did what they did on the court. And it's just crazy how it all organically happened, and because of BC basketball sideline reporting, that's how I got on radio.
Okay. So were you in the mix?
I could keep going like that. Everything
Right.
I'm doing has yeah.
That's dope though. I mean, and that's probably the way it should work, right? That's the way it should work. A lot of times it doesn't for people for whatever reason. But
and to answer your question, sorry, real quick, not to cut you off, to answer your question. So no, I never thought I'd be where I am, because this all has just kind of happened organically, God's plan. So no, social entrepreneur was never in my track.
That's a beautiful thing. No, that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, you're everywhere, TV, radio, online, everywhere. You're literally in the streets as well.
Yeah.
Were you around during the Final Four time?
For UVA or for VCU?
Oh, you.
Both degrees. Both
VCU.
degrees went to the championship.
All right.
Sorry. I got to flex when I can on that.
And I understand.
Yes.
You were.
Yes. And not only did I go, but I traveled with the team, and took some students, and it was an amazing experience. That era was shocking, man. Like that was just, all of them know, like, for real. Like I love, like, Jeff was something different. Jeff was something special. And then, Anthony came in and he was very, he had a plan.
Right.
And then Shaka came in and just kind of shook the table and made the city kind of look at VCU basketball and what they were doing and what Black coaches meant to the community.
Definitely.
I could go on about, all of them, even Rhodes, Mike was there, during my era. So, and
as an assistant.
and I got to come in and kind of talk to the team. He invited me in to talk to the team, and it was such a good conversation, with these dudes. I was like, I'm Auntie Kelli in the streets to y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all the real. And I could tell that they appreciate hearing it from, somebody that could relate.
So many different ways we can go right now. But I did mention that you were, I mentioned the streets. You're in the streets regularly. Last year, like you said, about 18 months ago, we had the Uprising in Richmond, which a lot of people, I think people that are in Richmond and surrounding areas, I don't think a lot of people grasp that this was, like they see, okay, it happened and we're in the city. It happened on a national, international platform in this city, though. I don't think a lot of people grasp the
magnitude,
the weight of that. Yeah, that's a weight. But I specifically remember seeing you the morning after many of the businesses got damaged in some way, shape, or form. And I know that you and your people were out there in front of your spot that night before.
Yeah. 3 nights. 3 nights of it.
3 nights.
3 nights. Yeah, three nights of it. And it's something I'll never do again. If it ever happens, it comes around again, I'll never risk my life and other people's life to protect something that is replaceable. That I will say, it's something I'll never forget, to witness what we saw again, that's a story we'll always be able to tell, because again, here I go, finding the positive, because those incidents that drew national spotlight to Richmond made sure that we could tell more stories, right? That we could get the whole story out, that, why are these monuments still up? Why are we not celebrating Jackson Ward? Why, oh, wait, Richmond, y'all kind of dope. Wait, y'all got this scene, and this scene. How we don't know about that, And so again, the fact that we had to, wake some non-Black folks up about how America was really living when we all witnessed the murder of George Floyd. Right. The anger and everything that happened from it allowed us to now have a different narrative. And, when you're at your dinner table with your kids and they're like, Mommy, why didn't we learn about the enslaved in our history books? And you don't have an answer. What's your answer? The Department of Education or whoever thought that might be too scary for you guys, but it was real life for us. And so now, again, that anger was taken to the streets, and, those kids wanted some answers, and they wanted some people to be accountable. And, I think now those visuals also are, are things that, that are now, making sure that we're telling the whole story.
Yeah, we actually had this conversation. My daughters and I had this conversation last night. We were just talking about, they were like, yeah, the only thing we really learned, like we learned certain Black people, but mainly it was Martin Luther King. And my youngest daughter was like, yeah, they meant they were not going to teach Malcolm X. And I was like, it's too much to it, because the more you dig in, then some people are going to have to feel that accountability. And once you open the door, it's a flood, and nobody wants to get caught in that. They don't want to get caught in that. So
shout out to the Jackson project, which is a new initiative right now that's doing just that. They're looking at how some of these places, spaces, a lot of things that we are memorializing right there in Jackson Ward, which is the birthplace of Black entrepreneurship. Like, why are we still paying homage to these people that literally put an interstate through our thriving neighborhood to try to destroy us? Like really, why are we doing this? And the more and more we're digging, the more and more people are like doing like this, making that face like, you really, when are you going to release this? Because now we got to get ready. Oh, really? You got to get ready? So again, like you said, it's just, we're about to get uncomfortable, as we make some more people comfortable with knowing the truth.
You said the Jackson Collective, and you.
Well, no, that's a Jackson. No, that's a Jackson project.
Jackson project.
And I co-founded the Jackson Ward Collective. That's a hub to help Black businesses learn, own, and grow. Within the Black community, and it's just taken off because for the same reason, like all of a sudden people are like, whoa, wait, y'all exist. Whoa, y'all have great brands and quality products, and I don't know why I don't shop with you all. I don't know why I've never walked through your door. Right. Like all those things that it's no longer an excuse. But I don't like to use the word but. However, we have the network, and we have endless, ways that we can help each other. And so we definitely came together as a hub and started the Jackson Ward Collective, mainly just to be that source and that network for people that own, Black owners, to really be able to let their guard down and tell, we got y'all on a lot of different ways. We can show you how to be successful.
Yeah, shout out to my guy, Reggie Carter, who actually was working on the license plate, the Rich
Yeah,
Planet
yeah,
license plate, and
yeah.
I think he was out there with y'all a couple. I don't want to say a couple. Yeah, it was some weeks ago when you had an event out in Jackson Board.
Yeah, he was doing, he's definitely out there, still trying to wrap up those signatures and get everything moving for that that the tribute license plate to the to
Yeah,
John Mitchell. Yeah, so
he's getting the
and everything
numbers.
that he did with the newspaper. So but yeah, he's definitely out there in those streets, making a change, making a difference. And that's another thing. Like, he's a young brother, I love to see really, how the energy of Richmond and like kind of having very unique things for the Black community specifically to do. I kind of probably started within like the last 5 to 7 years, I would say,
Yeah.
because we were looking around and saying, oh, wow, we don't have anything that's ours. Yes, there's Second Street Festival. Yes, there's, some of these other things, but, like the way that people were going, non-Black people were going to the brewery or, experiencing the James River or eating at these restaurants that were award winning or, like just how they were, nightlife, what their nightlife was looking like, where they were living. It was just totally different. And I think some of the things that we were able to create, through, some of the things Lonnie and I did, also Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, Heart and Soul Brew Fest, just so many different avenues that kind of started this movement of how we embrace the talent that's right here and then showcase it so that everybody kind of, experiences it.
Yeah. It's one thing when you go to, and of course, I mean, it's more white people than there are Black people, people of color in the country. So it's one thing when you go to something that seems like it's a white event and Black people go, as opposed to going to a Black event and white people go. It's a different feel because, and I mean, I guess because, it was meant for you to be there. It was meant for you to be there rather than let me go check this out because it looks fun, but I don't know how it's going to be. Over here, you're like, yeah, these are my people. These are my people.
Yeah. It really was that simple in the creation of things. And I've even sat on some focus groups and meetings with different festivals and organizations that are trying to, kind of diversify events and things that they've been doing for years, right? And, I kind of am in the mindset of why force it? Like, you haven't made anything comfortable for us for years. I mean, I'm talking about events that have been happening for 10 plus years,
Right.
and now, you want to invite our audience to come and experience it. And, I want to be honest that there's no need to make people uncomfortable. When a whole large different audience comes into a scene and the whole scene is like, whoa. And then you invite this large audience to this scene, walking into the woes. Like, who wants that? Why would you want to invite people to an environment that they don't want to be at? That the people don't want them there, And so, and I watched that person kind of be like, oh, thank you for, kind of saying the truth about it all. There's nothing that we can't create that's new. Who said you can't do something else, and start from scratch of making sure this diverse. And, I'm oftentimes at the table and, not saying I'll get up, but I'll, if there is no diversity, within the agenda or on the platform or, any parts of it, I don't even know there's no need for me to be there, like that's basic to me at this point. So
you feel like it's checking a box, like you are checking the box for the thing.
Yeah, or that you're not even, I don't even know if I have the energy, you know what I'm saying, to give up all the resources, because I shouldn't have been the only one at the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, at this stage, I feel like there are so many talented, Black men and women, you know, or just people in general, Black people in general that should be invited to, you know, to make sure that your event represents Richmond, period. Period.
It's funny that you didn't grow up fully in Richmond. Your lady Faith didn't grow up fully in Richmond, but y'all have come into Richmond and actually created something that makes the people that have been here since the beginning realize, oh, it's a little more. Because, you know, even, I mean, people that live in Richmond a lot of times will be like, ain't nothing to do in Richmond. Even to this day, they will still say that because they're used to saying that over the years.
Yeah. That's so crazy. Like, and we laugh about it because I think we were having fun in Richmond because we were creating our fun. And yes, so many Richmonders left Richmond because they were like, you know, y'all didn't like the stuff that we enjoy. We were like, yes, this is so much fun. And y'all are like, we don't want to do that. You know, that's not it. And so I think what we were able to do is bring it from a different lens. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, what if we do it this way? What if we take over this place, but it's still real Richmond, Shaw? You know, like how do we keep it that way? And I think that's how we got the respect, because as we got older, you know, and Lonnie would tell this all the time, like we kept our audience to the things that we wanted to do. And so then we, you know, the audience just kept coming with us because they were like, yeah, well, that's something I want to do. Yeah. You know, and we're like, that's what we want to do. So that's how we really come up with some stuff.
Plus y'all gain the trust of the people. Like, I don't know what this is, but you know, it's Kelly, so it's probably gonna be dope. Let's just go check it out. So I can see that.
Yeah. And but I've also been blessed, and so I got to make sure I say this on everything. I've been blessed to be able to like surround myself with some dope, talented people that, you know, I could pick up the phone and be like, I mean, that's really what was dope about VCU. I was able to say, yo, Mark, can you do the sound? Yo, Lonnie, can you be the DJ? Yo, Danger, can you run them graphics? Yo, Skills, can you be the host? You know, yo, Rayvon, where you at? You know, you're a student. Like, you know, I could call the restaurants and get the catering, like all of these things. You know, I was at the basketball games, so I could get the players to come through, like food, sports, arts, education, like all of those things were like really starting to like really blink at me when I was really figuring out, okay, who I am and what I mean to the city. And it was all about the fact that I dabbled in so many different areas or brought so many different things to a city at a time where, you know, people were just down on the city, you know, like they weren't feeling the energy, and VCU was playing a pivotal role because the student engagement and just VCU kind of take it over downtown, and Tronnie saying, keep the energy here, keep the energy here. I mean, it helped. And then them kids never left, and they became parents, and they had kids, you know, and their kids now go to schools here, and they live in Richmond now. And so that all kind of, you know, helped with making sure these experiences lasted a little longer.
One of my favorite experiences yearly that you are one of the 3 founders of is the Richmond Black Restaurant Experience. I remember talking, like I always say, I remember talking to y'all the first year, right before the first one happened. I was like, this is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
It's gonna be all right.
Spectacular. Off the rip, it turned out to be spectacular. And how has that been? I mean, I feel like that, along with some other things, have changed the city. Plus the fact that these magazines are now like, oh, Richmond was number 1, I believe, at one point of places to travel to or to visit in the US.
I think we made top 10. I think we made top 10 places to travel. It was this summer to visit this summer.
This summer, okay.
Yeah, this summer. But I mean, it was a lot. We made a lot of different lists. So I don't want to lie and say that we didn't hit a number 1. But the one I think that you're specifically quoting is we were one, and it was a major magazine too that had it. So, I forgot what you asked me. Look, that
well, how has it been, just the whole
RBR.
experience of Richmond Black Restaurant Experience itself, and the love and the pressure and all of it?
We've done our job. I mean, we're coming into, I think this is our 6th year. And, we looked at the fact of, how many restaurants we, are able to participate, how many restaurants are still in business or have been created, because we are able to provide this platform. Food trucks, caterers, chefs, just everything in the culinary industry, because now they have a network. They have they have a place where they can know that, we'll give them the exposure. That's one thing that they can kind of, take off their plate is, when you're down with us, we're a family that makes sure that when we are at these tables, we're saying your names and we're getting you to the events and to the orgs and, the festivals, all the things. And it's more than just that week. We're 365, so we're just coming up with all these little creative ways to make sure that as Richmond continues to get recognized as one of the powerhouse culinary cities in the nation, that the Black culinary industry names are up there as well. So, but again, we've done our job, going into the 6th year. People know it and get excited about it, and 365.
And shout out to Amy and Mimi. Amy, who keeps avoiding this show. I don't know why, but Amy and Mimi, I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe.
Oh, I get on. She busy. She booked and busy. So
yeah, and I understand. Yeah. Now we kind of glossed over Urban Hang Suite. We got to at least touch on it because it came out of, I can say it came out of nowhere because, on the outside. But where did the idea come from, and how has it been, even through the struggles of COVID and everybody being quarantined? You were still out there fighting. You were out there fighting. I saw it. So how has that been for you?
The Hang Suite has definitely transitioned. So, while I was running the brand over at Mama J's, I knew I didn't want a restaurant, and I knew I really didn't want a bar lounge yet. I did, know that through my podcast, Coffee with Strangers, that I was sitting in a lot of coffee shops, seeing the vibe. And I was like, I could probably create something that is, in an urban downtown environment that, looks like a hotel lobby or a hotel suite, but then also, allows you to hang out in it and chill and be nosy and all those things. And I said, but it gotta have a dope vibe. Like, it gotta be like an urban hang suite, and once I looked up all the licensing to make sure Maxwell wasn't going to get mad at me for doing anything, it just kept, it felt right. And then when I walked into the space, and I knew that was my space, and that's another thing, it's on the corner. It's actually in downtown Arts District and Jackson Ward, but not really, because where it sits on the corner, I can't really claim Jackson Ward, but I am. And, I'm kind of in the Arts District, but, the art galleries don't come up that far. And in downtown, it's really like 3 blocks away. So I just kind of call it the little, corridor of a mall. And that's what it feels like. You get your downtown vibes, you get your art vibes, you get your Jackson Ward vibes. And, it's a place where you can really come get a cup of coffee, but you're going to feel the culture. You're going to feel, when you walk in that door, that this ain't just a regular coffee shop. This is a place where, we build connections, we build community, we build, culture, all over just a simple, how you doing? What you got going on, or listening to somebody have a conversation. Like I said, if you don't want somebody to know your business, don't say it in the Hang Suite. Telling you now, just don't do it, because it's just so natural for somebody to jump in a conversation, and then that's how that networking and engagement starts.
Wow, really? That's real?
Like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh, I was looking for so-and-so that did that. Oh, or like, the dude that comes in every day and you just have a casual conversation with him and he's like, dang, I wish, I gotta get my landscaping, something done, and I live in this area. And then the next day, this dude, yeah, I own a landscaping business in this area. I mean, that's how these connections happen. It's just, again, it's ear hustling a little bit. You're catching something and then you can throw it back to somebody else because that's what's happening in that environment. And
That's
shout out
beautiful.
to AJ Brewer and Kendra Feather and John Murden, because all of that happened because Kendra walked me into the space, and then me and AJ Brewer kind of had a conversation about coffee, and then AJ Brewer on his Instagram announced that I was opening up a coffee shop. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm opening up and it was just, again, organically, everything just started moving. So
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, AJ goes hard for the city as well, especially for the South Side. I can't let you go without talking about two things. One, are you a hip hop head, like for real, for real?
90s only. 90s and maybe 2000 up until like 2010.
Okay.
Like and some stuff that comes on now, but it's gotta have almost a 90s kick to it for me to like it. So.
Well, before we get into this auto noise, I'm just going real quick. I don't even know if I want to top five this thing. I'm not a big top five guy off the rip, but give me a top five. It doesn't even have to be hip hop. Give me a top five musical artists. Can you do that? That seems like
yeah.
a
And it doesn't have to be hip hop. Say less.
No.
Okay, this is a whole different. Okay, are we going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Maybe
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's perfect.
Okay, 5, 4. Total.
Wow.
Rakim. Method Man. Prince. Mary J. Blige. That is my best friend in my head. And it's so much my best friend, I don't even want to meet her source. Like I run. I met Method, and I'm glad it was what it was in a large environment, but I do not want to meet Mary. Mm-mm.
You don't want to ruin the picture you have in your head.
Mm-hmm. I am such a fan. If I hear that this is not true, I hear she is so cool, so down to earth, but I don't want to chance it. I had the opportunity to go out to dinner with New Edition. Oh, wait.
So, total in trouble.
Actually moves. Rakim comes to number 5. New Edition goes to 4.
Okay.
Goes to 4, yeah. And meeting them ruined my fan. I loved them like my whole life. And, they were there. They were sitting right there. I could touch, I could ask them, it's just, I don't want to do it. That might be weird. And I've met them a couple, been around them a couple more times, but it's just something about Mary.
Did you happen to have a chance to check out the documentary on one of my favorite albums, My Life?
It was so deep. It was, I cried my eyes out. Like me and Lonnie had talked about doing this whole watch party and everything for her because we was off that night. It's like, we gonna do it up. I am so glad we didn't do that. That would have been deep. Oh my God. I mean, it would have been a dope, but I mean, no, I wouldn't have been able to, enjoy it because I wanted to go find her and hug her. Like it makes listening to the songs so much more special. And, and then also really getting into what we as a culture are coping with and how we pour it out in all these different outlets, and how it becomes great. Again, that's the joy, right? That goes back to what I was saying, how we find the joy and stuff.
Indeed. And rest in peace, Chucky Thompson.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah, My Life is my joint. And I said the same, something similar. I was like, to my wife, because she doesn't I mean, she likes Mary, and she's not really into documentaries. And I watched it that Sunday morning by myself. After it came out, I was like, I'm glad nobody else was watching this with me, because people ruin things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people ruin things. But I digress. Let's touch on this art of noise, which actually is part of another. This is another thing that you're a part of that changed culture in the city.
Yeah.
Art of noise is like great. Like it's great. And it's going to get even greater coming real soon. September 5th. Yeah. Ah,
that's the next one in Richmond. September 5th is the next one in Richmond, but I think they have some other dates in some other cities. I only do Richmond for right now.
Gotcha. I don't even know what to ask you about art of noise, because it's so many things. Like I've seen the joy that it brings you on the stage. You go all in. And I appreciate that, because I love music. And I mean, how has it been? How has it been being a part of it as opposed to looking at it from the outside?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, to watch literally that go from us, being in the club on Thanksgiving night, because Lonnie was like, if y'all ain't doing that and slide through, you know what I'm saying, to being one of the most anticipated music lovers parties. And I want to make sure I keep it very clear. It is not an old school hip hop party. It is a music lovers party, because, most of the time, Mark and Lonnie, vibe off each other, and then, I'll vibe off the skills, and, they know what direction they're going to go in. But sometimes it just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like they just get in the zone, and it could go from, your favorite hip hop song to your favorite country song to something that is rock, and then we back to go-go, and I am in complete awe when I see people that are 21 at Art of Noise. Again, it's not an old school party. However, I still think that, that age group doesn't, I just get blown away that age group wants to come and party with us. And that's what they said. They're like, oh, it's a party though. Like y'all be in a vibe. And then I appreciate you saying, I definitely put my whole energy in it, because I feel it. Like you feel like, first of all, me, Lonnie, Mark, and Skills, we got that chemistry anyway. So we go back, we're friends, we're family, you know what I'm saying? So, and then once we appreciate the fact that people like the Art of Noise, people wanted something like this, and then they sell it out in record numbers. So, we ain't asked you to come to something that we ain't gonna give you the major energy for. You know what I'm saying? Like we was in the rain with y'all. Like I got wet. Like I could have died from electrocution because I had no shoes on, looking crazy.
Yeah.
But that was the energy and the vibe that we felt. I mean, them boys did a rain mix that was, genius. So the Art of Noise is an experience, like when we were in a pandemic, people were like, why aren't y'all doing the Art of Noise virtually? Because you can't.
Yeah, it's not the same.
You just can't, like I want to be beside you. I want Shaquan is going to call somebody out, Mark and Lonnie are going to have a moment. That can't happen this way. So that's what the Art of Noise is to me.
So one of the things that the Art of Noise is most famous for is surprise guests. Surprise hip hop, R&B artists come out, hop on stage for a few minutes, do a couple of joints, surprising to everybody in the crowd. They have no idea if somebody's going to be there or who it is going to be. From, I don't even want to start naming names. I'm just like Freeway, Kane, rest in peace, Biz, Mystical. I think we just talked about Mystical. I just talked to Lonnie about Mystical not too long ago. He told me a funny story, which I can't share. So anyway,
Little.
What, yeah,
Yeah.
what artists, if there is, well, maybe what moment? I can tell you mine. What moment blew me away? MC Light.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. That was it. I mean, that just felt different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then having Lonnie's kids there. I mean, she spit the rhyme right before Light came out. Like, I'm not, she is one of my favorite rappers, hands down. That's my favorite female MC, you know. I didn't put her in my top 5 though, because you let me go, everybody.
Respect.
However, you know, she's just an icon and she's a legend in the game. And, you know, so we had the Future, and you know, we had her, and me really, I host differently. Like Shaquan is a lyricist. Shaquan is, you know, like he's quick with it because he is an artist of that medium, right? I host like I'm your friend, you know, like, you know, I get you hyped. So to be on that stage with a legend and an icon, I stepped back, I think. And I think because I zoned out, like I shouldn't be on the stage near. Why do I have a mic in my hand? Put the mic down, back up, and watch this show with everybody else. And so yeah, that's definitely number one. Number one. But I mean, I got some other favorite ones. Redman was a good time.
Yeah.
He was a good time.
Another thing I won't mention, but one of the funniest things I've ever seen personally was Lonnie and Redman. I'll just leave it at that.
Redman was a good time.
Hilarious.
So yeah, I mean, and I'm glad that you stated if an artist, because that is not guaranteed.
Right.
And I'm saying that for different reasons. I mean, that just happens to be something that Lonnie kind of incorporated and has been successful at working out these last couple of times. I ain't gonna lie and say there's been some times where it's been kind of close because of availability. Mm-hmm. And then also you got to think about, we're telling someone that promotes that they're someplace that they can't say nothing.
Right.
This ain't about you. That is already sold out. And that, oh, by the way, you can only do like two songs. You know, like, you got to be careful with that. That has been the most interesting thing to kind of watch with these artists. And afterwards, they're like, yo, what was that? Mm-hmm. Well, and so it's starting to spread now through the industry. Like, yo, there's this little thing called Art of Noise that, you know, you want to feel the energy of a dope crowd that don't even know that you coming and take you back to your artistry. That, you know, that's what is, I think, keeping them saying yes.
Well, I found it interesting that multiple people said P.D. Pablo was their favorite moment. I saw this. I was like, word? Yeah. I mean, I think that was the rain. That was the rain one, right?
P.D. Pablo. No, Kane was the rain.
Kane was the rain. Okay.
Yeah, because remember, it stopped raining as soon as Kane hit the stage. Smooth operator started, and it was all over with. So, but P.D. put on a show. I mean, P.D. said, I mean, again, I think this for why I just said, they didn't even know he was coming. We handed out white washcloths right before he hit the stage. And it just, I mean, they gave it to him and he gave it back because, again, he appreciated that they didn't even know. Fans of hip hop were out there. And he said, this is how it's supposed to feel.
That's a beautiful thing. Oh man, I can talk to you about a million different other things.
Yeah.
You said, is there anything specific that I may have missed? I mean,
you know, just, you know,
I need that one. I need that one piece though. I need that kind of exclusive one. Let me.
Well, you know, I can give it to you because I know it's all going to be official, but you know, I just appreciate, again, all the connections and everybody that, you know, over kind of like the last 20 years have really helped me define like my career, my purpose, and my place. And, you know, I'm just excited to kind of move into a new industry and a new platform, as I am about to be back at work full time for Lee Enterprises, who owns Richmond Times Dispatch. And I will be heading up their streaming platform for, you know, video content, news content. But I'm just excited that we are moving how you get your news here in Central Virginia to a platform that's appealing to a different audience. You know, we have a lot of dope creators in this city, and, you know, that younger generation, like my brother's age, you know, they ain't picking up the paper, they're not reading magazines, they headed to their phones, and if anything, they're listening to things as they're moving around, right? And so, you know, that video and that audio, that, you know, bringing the paper to life is what I'm excited about. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, along with, you know, Hank Sweet is forever, you know, my baby, but it is in great hands with Mercedes Benson. And, you know, I can kind of push away from, you know, really the day-to-day of that and let her do her thing, and dive into this new arena that I am extremely excited about, you know, helping, you know, build and create, you know, the resources and the opportunities for people to, you know, put some quality creative content out there on a video streaming platform.
Well, first of all, congratulations. How long until we are able to see that? Is there like a time frame of build up or what?
Well, I mean, we're starting from the ground up, you know,
Okay.
and so it's gonna, you know, take some time to kind of look at what resources are already there in the building. You know, like there's a great team of journalists, a great team of, you know, editors and those that have already kind of laid the foundation. It's already a studio in there, so there's already a video team, and, you know, marketing and advertising team is, you know, excited and ready to go, because again, we're being innovative. And so I would say probably, yeah, late this year, more so early next year, where we can really you know, put out something so that we can start like really creating this content that is, you know, on a regular basis. So that's the goal, you know, that's the hope. And, you know, I really won't know until I, you know, really get in it and see what's already available, and then see, you know, what's out, what's local, you know, who we can, you know, bring, you know, in, or who we can, you know, have support, or, you know, I think it's going to take some time to, you know, really define what it is, but also I think that the foundation's already been laid. So
That's awesome. I hope they give you all the leeway, all the time you need, because we all know that thing is going to be right once you get to it. So
yeah, and I'm still doing, I also, Jackson Ward Collective, still, you know, will be supporting Black-owned businesses, Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, RBR E365. I'm still going to be, you know, eating and grooving with that. And, you know, also, you know, Virginia Lottery, I'm still your draw show host, pick 3, pick 4, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, right at 2:00, virginialottery.com. Man,
do you sleep?
I actually do. You know, people ask me that, and I used to, I do. I do. I get my Netflix on, and I get, you know, I get up. I actually get up early. My mind, you know, moves, but I'll be to bed by like 11, and I'm up by probably 6.
Dang.
And that's a good little, that's not bad though, right?
Oh, no, I'm not thinking about the sleep thing. I'm thinking about the things that you do with your time. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, it's other people that move the same way, but it's just amazing to see. So,
but also hire people. This is another thing, and I know we way over time, but this is another thing I feel like we as a Black Black community, I'm being very specific when I say us, is that, you know, I've just kind of gotten into having these conversations with my parents. It's like they work until they die. You know what I'm saying? And they don't outsource anything. They don't look for, you know, ways to be efficient. They're like, I got to get this money because I got to save for my retirement, you know, and then once I get that, then, you know, then I can only use a little bit because I got it. Like, no. And so I am very much so on making sure that I am valuing my time in its worth, right? And so that I'm outsourcing the things that I know I don't do well at all. And, you know, making sure that that might take up some of my time. And so why, if that's going to take me 3 hours, but I can pay somebody and it only takes them an hour, you know, like, why are we in this mentality of, no, I can't have, you know, someone that helps me. I can't have an assistant, a personal assistant. I can't have someone that, you know, cleans my house. I can't have, you know, someone that, you know, does my yard. Like, you know, those things, if you enjoy them, do them. But if it can take a little bit of pressure off of you and you can go have a beer, or you could go to bed a little bit earlier, or you can spend some quality time with your family or a loved one and some friends, you know, and you have the opportunity to pay for it, why not?
Respect.
Especially if they're Black owned and you can circulate the dollar within the Black.
Indeed. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelli, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy lady, like we said, but thank you for joining me. I'm gonna let you free now.
I'm gonna stop saying I'm busy, and I'm gonna stop saying, letting people say that too. People make time for what they want to. So, you know, like busy don't have nothing to do with it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Good luck to you. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
ma'am. Kelli Lemon, sauce out here.
Yes.